Have you ever found yourself questioning how the insights of philosophy, particularly the philosophy of Hegel, could enrich our comprehension of the universe? The fusion of philosophical introspection and the empirical approach of the scientific method can lead us to the doorstep of truth. To begin, let's ponder upon the importance of philosophy in making sense of the world around us. Philosophy is a comprehensive framework employed to question the universe and seek meaningful answers, quite like the foundations of the scientific method. Now let's delve into Hegel's philosophy. At its heart, Hegel's dialectical method mirrors the scientific method, consisting of three stages: a thesis presenting an initial position, an antithesis negating this position, and a synthesis resolving the conflict between the two. This is akin to the scientific methodology, posing a question, conducting research, and forming a hypothesis. It offers a blueprint for inquiry, guiding us from curiosity to comprehension. Now let's examine the bond between Hegel's dialectical method and the scientific method. The process isn't stiff or unyielding. Philosophers and scientists find themselves revising, reorganizing, or revisiting steps. This adaptability is a strength, allowing both methods to respond to the broad array of inquiries that our curious minds can formulate. For instance, in domains where direct experimentation isn't feasible, they adjust the techniques, all the while striving to unveil cause and effect connections. Fresh insights or lines of thought may prompt them to repeat steps in the process, highlighting the iterative and evolving nature of exploration. So why are these methodologies so vital? They help us define our questions and analyze observations and data to unearth answers. They offer a systematic approach to questioning that minimizes bias, promotes replicability, and furthers the objective quest for truth. It's captivating to realize that the same methods that help us comprehend the complex ballet of celestial bodies can also expose the minuscule building blocks of matter. The scope of philosophical introspection and the scientific method is vast, ranging from the infinitesimal to the incomprehensibly vast, and everything in Hegel's dialectical method, like the scientific method, is a compass we use to voyage through the great unknown. It all begins with a spark of curiosity, a question. Hegel's philosophy, a complex system of thought that seeks to comprehend the entire cosmos, starts with a simple yet profound inquiry about the world that envelops us. This question is the ignition point, the initial step that triggers the entire philosophical, but the question shouldn't be just any question. It shouldn't be as abstract as, what is the nature of being, but rather, how can we use the scientific method to unravel the nature of being? The difference might seem subtle, but the latter question is the one that leads us to a fusion of philosophy and science. It's the one that can be subjected to scientific observed and analyzed. The question should be specific and concise, yet broad enough to open the door to further scientific investigation. It should be a question that kindles curiosity and yet is rooted in the concrete world of observable phenomena. So remember, employing the scientific method in the exploration of Hegel's philosophy doesn't just start with a question, it starts with the right question. And as the saying goes, a question well asked is half answered. When a philosophical question is asked, the follow-up step is to delve into a pool of knowledge. This phase, known as research, is fundamental in the inquiry. It's where we navigate the ocean of already existing ideas, trying to comprehend what has been previously probed about our question. It's as if we're investigators examining clues left by philosophers before us. Why does this matter, you might wonder? Well, it's because philosophy, much like science, is cumulative. Each realization is built on the previous one. Each concept contributes to the grand jigsaw of understanding the world. Through research, we avoid rehashing old ideas and instead, we further develop these ideas, pushing them ahead. We analyze texts, dissect arguments, and scrutinize theories, all to gain a better understanding of our question. For example, if we're examining Hegel's philosophy, we'd review prior studies on his dialectical method, his idea of absolute spirit, and the socio-political context of his time. And of course, it's not just about reading and accepting everything we come across. We must also critically evaluate the information, assessing its validity and relevancy. In the end, this meticulous research forms the foundation for our thesis, the informed supposition that we will later subject to rigorous debate. The pursuit of wisdom, we stand on the shoulders of the philosophers who came before us. Empowered with wisdom, we then create a hypothesis and subject it to philosophical scrutiny. Imagine you're a philosopher trying to understand the complexities of the world. You've gathered your thoughts and are now attempting to blend them together to form a philosophical theory. This is essentially what a hypothesis is in philosophy. It's an intellectual supposition, a suggested explanation formed on the basis of rational analysis. It's a stepping stone for further contemplation. A hypothesis here isn't merely an unsupported conjecture. It's founded on discernment and comprehension we've developed from rigorous intellectual exploration. It's a postulation, a claim that can be scrutinized philosophically. Now let's think about how we can examine our hypothesis. This is where Hegel's dialectical method comes in. The dialectical method isn't a test like an experiment, but an intellectual process of argument and counter-argument. It's a systematic, logical debate where we assess the validity of our hypothesis by exposing it to conflicting viewpoints. Consider our philosopher again. They formed a hypothetical understanding of a philosophical issue. Now, they need to subject this hypothesis to dialectical scrutiny. They may propose a thesis, identify an antithesis, or seek a synthesis. They're conducting a dialectical process in their own philosophical way. In Hegel's dialectical method, we often have three steps: a thesis, an antithesis, and a synthesis. The thesis presents an idea. The antithesis, on the other hand, opposes this idea. By reconciling the thesis and antithesis, we arrive at the synthesis. Through this, we can examine if our hypothesis withstands the challenge of conflicting viewpoints. Significance of the dialectical method lies in its ability to substantiate or debunk our hypothesis. It's the process of subjecting our intellectual supposition to scrutiny, of questioning our assumptions and predictions. It's a crucial component of philosophical inquiry, enabling us to move beyond mere speculation into the domain of rational comprehension. Remember, a hypothesis doesn't become a philosophical theory or a law just because the dialectical method supports it. It must endure relentless questioning and scrutiny. It needs to be logically consistent and the arguments coherent. A hypothesis is the seed, and Hegel's dialectical method is the sunlight that allows it to flourish. After engaging in dialectical reasoning, we scrutinize the thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. This is the moment of truth where we delve deep into the profound understanding derived from our philosophical explorations, seeking patterns, relationships, and insights. The analysis of these triadic structures is a crucial step in the philosophical process, especially when we look at it through the lens of Hegelian dialectics. It's like assembling a trinity, where each part of the triad plays a pivotal role in constructing the larger philosophical understanding. We scrutinize each part of the dialectic meticulously, comparing it with our initial thesis. This is where we uncover if our starting point was accurate or if we've chanced upon an entirely unexpected antithesis. We look for correlations, trends, and contradictions. We perform rigorous tests to gauge the relevance and impact of our findings. We even discover that we need to refine our thesis and repeat the dialectical process. It's a procedure that demands both rigorous attention to detail and a creative, open mind. Once we've examined the dialectic, we then transition to the synthesis. Here, we consolidate our findings and interpret the results. The synthesis is a clear statement that reconciles the conflict between the thesis and antithesis. It informs us whether our thesis was accurate or not. If our thesis is supported by the synthesis, then we've added a new piece to the puzzle of understanding the complexities of life. If it's not, then we've learned something equally valuable. Our initial assumptions were incorrect, and it's back to the drawing board. Either way, we've acquired new knowledge. Remember, in philosophy, even a failed dialectic is a success, because it brings us one step closer to wisdom. It's a process of continuous learning, of reasoning and revelation, of curiosity and discovery. So, whether our thesis was accurate or not, we've made progress. We've enhanced our understanding. And that's the beauty of the Hegelian dialectic. It's a systematic, logical approach that allows us to raise questions, devise arguments, analyze them, and find answers. It's a tool for understanding the world around us, and it's a tool that anyone can use. The dialectic is the voice of the philosophical exploration, and in its analysis, we find the answer to our question: The final step of the philosophical inquiry, especially in the context of philosophy, is to share our interpretations. But why is this step so paramount? You see, philosophy isn't a solitary pursuit. It's a collaborative endeavor, a shared journey towards comprehending the world around us. When we communicate our interpretations, we're not merely showcasing our thoughts. We're inviting others into our mental journey, allowing them to trace the paths we've traveled, the queries and the insights we've attained. This transparency is crucial for maintaining the integrity of philosophical discourse. It's what enables others to examine our interpretations, to challenge our theses, and ensure that our deductions stand up to critique. But it doesn't end there. Communication also paves the way for others to expand upon our thoughts. Each discovery, each bit of wisdom shared, becomes a stepping stone for future discourse. In this way, our individual contributions become part of a larger philosophical narrative, woven together through the threads of communication. Philosophy thrives in the sharing of knowledge. So let's uphold this tradition of communication, of sharing and building upon each other's ideas, because that's how we push the boundaries of what we comprehend and venture into the realm of the unknown. So why is Hegel's philosophy and its linkage to the scientific method vital? Let's delve into this. Hegel's philosophy, much like the scientific method, serves as a beacon amidst the vast abyss of the unknown. It guides us from a state of curiosity to a realm of comprehension, transporting us from the of ignorance to the thoroughfares of knowledge. Each progression, from questioning, investigating, hypothesizing, experimenting, analyzing, concluding, and communicating, is a stride in our expedition towards enlightenment. It's akin to a compass, directing us through the wilderness of the universe, assisting us in unraveling phenomena that would otherwise remain cloaked in enigma. It's an organized procedure that slices through the haze of uncertainty and escorts us to the realm of concrete, verifiable truths. Hegel's philosophy, entwined with the scientific method, is not merely an asset for philosophers or scientists. It's a cognitive paradigm that each one of us can embody. It encourages skepticism, necessitates evidence, and upholds logic, making it an indispensable instrument for any individual on a quest for truth. Furthermore, the amalgamation of Hegel's philosophy with the scientific method is a tribute to human inventiveness. It's a testament to the fact that we are not just passive spectators in the cosmos, but active explorers, endowed with the capacity to delve into its most profound mysteries. The joint venture of Hegel's philosophy and the scientific method, with its questioning, researching, hypothesizing, experimenting, analyzing, concluding, and communicating, is our most dependable apparatus in the pursuit of truth. Now, let's explore the captivating world of Hegel's philosophy and its ties to the scientific method. Hegel, an influential figure in philosophy, crafted an exceptional approach to comprehending reality and the human psyche. The bedrock of this philosophy is the dialectic method, which involves 3 distinct stages of thought. Intriguingly, the dialectic method bears striking resemblances with the scientific method. The initial stage is the thesis, akin to the formulation of a question or identifying a problem in the scientific method. The subsequent antithesis stage represents conflict or contradiction, similar to the research and hypothesis phase, where existing theories are put to the test. Finally, the synthesis stage is where a new understanding is born, much like the conclusion drawn from data analysis in the scientific method. Thus, in this intertwining of thought and reality, Hegel's philosophy and the scientific method dance in sync, both striving to reveal the truth via a systematic and iterative process. The nexus between philosophy and science in the quest for knowledge becomes apparent when the scientific method's emphasis on questioning, researching, hypothesizing, experimenting, analyzing, concluding, and communicating mirrors the stages in Hegel's dialectical method. This shows that our quest for knowledge spans across disciplines and connects the seemingly divergent fields of science and philosophy. So the next time you use the scientific method, bear in mind, you're not merely being a scientist, but also a philosopher, partaking in the timeless dance of thought, reality, and truth-seeking through the lens of Hegel's philosophy. Thank you for watching our video on the scientific method, a bridge to Hegel's philosophy. If you found this enlightening and useful, do us a favor and give this video a thumbs up. Your support is what fuels us to continue creating and sharing these educational videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll be the first to know when we release new content, allowing you to continue expanding your knowledge and understanding of diverse topics. Remember, every like, every subscribe, and every share contributes to our mission of making education accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Your support is invaluable to us. So press that like button, hit the subscribe, and join us in our journey to make learning a delightful experience. Thank you for your support and stay curious.